Why would I make them so uncomfortable?
It probably has to do with your reputation. They feel your methods, your theories are...
Spooky? Do you think I'm spooky?
His face was so blank and expressionless. He didn't even seem human.
I'm not turning my back on anyone!
Have you ever found a metal implant in your body? Have you checked everywhere?
Mulder, you have to understand!
Put it down!
You put it down first!
Scully!
Mulder. We're gonna miss you, buddy. You're kind of what this show is about.
Yeah. Weird that they tried to do it without you.
Yeah. Welcome to a brand new and free episode of Fox Mulder is a Maniac.
Wait. Free? Are we sure Fox Mulder is the one who's a maniac and not us?
Oh, our prices are so low. Listen, this is a podcast that's normally on our Patreon, Tom. You're Tom. I'm Dave, by the way.
We're
the hosts.
That's accurate.
If you go to patreon.com/gamefully, GAMEFULLY, unemployed, you can have all the episodes of Fox Mulder as a Maniac, plus a bunch of other podcasts for just $5 a month. That's right. $5 a month.
Man.
This is a show where we have been for, 10 years now?
At least 150 years since the American Civil War.
Yeah. We have been watching every episode of The X-Files. Every single one. We haven't missed a single one. Take that, X-Files files.
Yeah. Take it right in the wherever. I don't know. Face. Yeah. Take it in the face.
We've been listening to We've been listening and looking at every single episode and talking about how Fox Mulder perhaps shouldn't be in the FBI and is, in fact, a maniac and should be in jail, probably, because he's done a lot of fucked up stuff.
Yeah, he definitely shouldn't be around people. It's alarming that he's walking among us in polite society. He should be identified and trapped at once. Yep.
And we've hit an interesting moment here.
Yeah.
Because until now to the end of the year, we will be covering a 3-parter, specifically season 7, episode 22, Requiem, which is part 1 of a 3-parter that'll bring us into season 8. And if you know anything about X-Files, you know that David Duchovny left for season 8.
He sure did.
So from now until the end of the year, we will be closing the book on Mulder for 1 season.
Yeah, just for a season.
And the question, of course, is what are we going to do after that? And the answer is, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we don't know yet, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, because he comes back for season 9, 10, and 11, mind you. So there's plenty more show to cover.
And he does show up in season 8.
Yes, he does. In fact, he will show up in the next episode we cover. Within, I believe it's called. But right now, we're on, again, season 7, episode 22, Requiem, the season finale. And the great abduction of Mulder.
To great fanfare.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Real brassy rendition of the X-Files theme as he gets zapped up into that UFO.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about it.
It's everything he's always wanted, Dave.
Yeah, it really is.
He's up there punching the fuck out of those aliens. Just sprinting from room to room, clocking aliens right in their big eyes.
Yeah. I didn't look into the behind the scenes of this because I forgot.
That's, let's look it up now.
Yeah, I mean, we know the idea that like they all through season 7 they thought this is it. Yeah. This is the end. I think David Duchovny had been trying to renegotiate or just simply didn't want to do it anymore. So they had to find a way to get him out. And so this is what they did. We start seeing some romantic stuff, which we'll talk about. I really want to talk about. It also ends with Scully revealing that she's pregnant.
With the implication being that that Mulder is the father of the child.
Well, they later try to make it a Jesus baby. And spoilers, it is revealed that Mulder is the father. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about that later. Yeah, I'm looking at behind the scenes. It's interesting is that they did not, I was curious about this. They did not shoot this because the whole thing is they go back to the pilot. They go back to Oregon with, what's his name? Billy?
Yeah.
If you remember the pilot of the X-Files, it's a small town and the kids are being abducted, and they go back to the point that they find the X that Mulder put in the road in the first episode.
Yep.
Which is great.
Yeah, where his car shut off.
Yeah, they did not film this back in the same place, but that's okay. This has a really cool digital effect, the abduction effect, the alien force field.
Mm-hmm.
That freaked me out. Did that freak you out?
Yeah, it's a little dated now because it's such like the rapid movement is such like a possession movie trope, but it's still like unnerving. They do it well in the show. They do it better in the show than they do it in any of those possession movies.
Yeah, when it happened to Scully, that made me go, "Oh,
yeah!"
Like I just did not expect it
because you don't expect it to happen to her. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so after the conclusion of the episode, David Duchovny expressed his desire to leave the series, saying, "I was kind of a free agent after season 7, and to me, there was not much else to do in terms of the character. So it was really about me wanting to pursue other parts of my career as a writer, director, and actor." How'd that work out?
Let's see. It didn't.
Yep.
It didn't.
They also, many fans apparently thought that Skinner would be the Mulder. And that would have been a neat idea, honestly.
It would have made it honestly would have made more sense, and maybe the show could have gone on with that, because if they had done Skinner instead of introducing a new character and just had it be Skinner and Scully, at least Skinner is a character that fans knew and liked, and he had an established backstory and an established rapport. Although his rapport with Scully is not very... I feel like they're both too... Maybe they're too similar. Maybe that was the issue.
Yeah. I think what it comes down to is like, you can't do it without Mulder or Scully, period.
Yeah.
Fans will revolt. And I will say, to their credit, you haven't watched it yet, but the next episode, Doggett is introduced like an asshole. Like they're actually like, yeah, you hate him. Like that's kind of the point. And that's actually a smart beginning to Doggett. Like they didn't bring him on and go like, look at, I'm just like Mulder, you'll love me. Like they make him a prick and they make Scully say fuck you to him. And I think that was actually a good idea because the fans are right there with her.
Yeah. And I think it's smart that like as season 8 goes on, Doggett is not just Mulder 2.0. He's a completely different character than Mulder.
He's almost more like Scully 2.0. Mm-hmm. But we'll get into that. So yeah, they bring it back. They bring it back to the start. They also bring back Alex Krycek, armless in some fucking prison, getting the shit kicked out of him. I
forget where he even was.
I don't know. It becomes like a weird, like, fucking crossover. It's like a Marvel... It's like the Avengers of X-Files. Like, by the end, when it's like Krycek and the Lone Gunman and Skinner all teaming up, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
It's what you were saying. They thought this was going to be... For a time, this was going to be the last episode.
Well, okay, so at this point, they obviously knew there was going to be another season because this is a to be continued. But, like... I think they thought we're never going to get Mulder.
We're never going to have Mulder.
This is closing the book. Mm-hmm. And I think they thought they were going to reboot the series after this, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what I've read, and sort of what you can kind of feel in this episode, like because it is really like that scene where it's just the shot of the Lone Gunman and Skinner and Mulder and Krycek and fucking Marita Covarrubias.
Yeah, I think they thought that by getting rid of Mulder, we weren't going to see a lot of these characters again, right?
Yeah.
I think they wanted to lean on Krycek because he was a fan favorite too, so they knew they had to bring him back.
Yeah.
I think they did think the cigarette smoking man would die here, but obviously they left it a little open.
They left it open, yeah.
Because let me tell you, nothing can kill this man.
He is indestructible. He gets definitively killed, I think, 4 times.
Yeah, well, in spoilers, in the series finale, the first series finale, you see his skull.
The flesh gets blasted off of his body so that it's just his naked skull.
And I love it. I love it.
And he still comes back.
Yep. Other notable appearances is the kid who fucked Stifler's mom is in this. Am
Eddie
I
K.
right?
Thomas. Eddie K. Thomas, yeah.
It's like dirtbag kids hunting radiation in the woods for some reason.
Listen,
and then
man,
they almost start a forest fire.
There is nothing to do in Bumblefuck, Oregon. So if it sounds like a UFO crashed, I would go check that shit out too.
That's true. So yeah, the idea is that this time a UFO has crashed in Oregon that happened to be in the same woods. We should probably get into our first section, which is World's Luckiest Detective, which is, it's what it sounds like. Mulder often doesn't solve a case so much as stumbles into the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Or say,
somebody solves it for him.
Yeah, or he'll say it's werewolves in the first 5 minutes, and we'll be just right,
and just dead,
no good
completely right. He'll throw out a wild guess based on no information, and what do you know? He's correct.
And in this case, it's a big reunion with like Billy and the people, but not for any like reasons. Like Billy is the cop now.
It was just, because they, like we were saying, they thought they were closing the book on at least a certain iteration of the X-Files. They thought Duchovny was never going to be back. So it's like bookending.
For sure. But it's also very lucky because Billy is like, oh, hey, Mulder. Yeah, I'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
Like people like they
Billy
show
actually
up.
calls Mulder.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's lucky that the inciting incident is a Navy jet crashes, collides with the UFO in midair, and they both go down. And the UFO happens to crash in the same spot in Oregon as the first episode, like you said. So that's like the lucky thing that starts. And then, of course, the Billy, the teenager that they helped in that first episode, is now a cop in the town, and he knows something is fishy. So he calls his old friend Mulder.
Yeah, and the girl is the wife of the guy who gets abducted, of the cop. And he's like,
one of the other teenagers that was getting
even
abducted.
Even the alien bounty hunter is there.
Yeah,
the bounty hunter is just like, hey!
Even the ABH!
Yeah. They show up on the scene. They immediately see the scorch marks from the blood. There's, let's see, what did I have here? There's the guy at the crime scene who just, like, shows up and says, hey, they took my friend. And he walks them through it.
Well, he doesn't he doesn't even say that. He shows up at the crime scene. Mulder spots him and then just starts chasing.
I want to talk about that later. Mulder is in peak form.
He chases this kid down, and only then, only then does the kid say, "Oh yeah, my friend Finch from American Pie also got abducted."
Yeah.
This came out after American Pie.
That's great.
So.
That's what I want to say about this episode. It's more next season, but this is the first time it feels like not the 90s. Like it's starting to actually feel like
early aughts.
It's getting like the way, especially again the next episode, it feels more like modern TV a little bit. And then of course there's the scene where Skinner shows up and is just like, I have Krychek and a bunch of answers, and let's all just help you, Mulder.
It's pretty.
And they all just get together to help Mulder.
It's pretty lucky that Krychek decides to screw over Cancer Man.
Yeah,
in a way that benefits Mulder.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Like Billy confronts his dad in a way that's very Mulder-like. Like everybody's kind of doing the work for Mulder because Mulder is a little sad sack in this, and we'll get into that.
He's moping from pillar to post in this episode, Dave.
Yeah. What do you think Krychek and the Lone Gunman talked about?
I don't know. I hope, like, in my mind, it is just very close to their interactions with Mulder, only way more externally hostile. Yeah. So, like, Mulder's sort of, like, entertained, because, like, Krychek and Mulder are pretty similar dudes. But, so I imagine it's a lot of them, like, kind of doing the same stuff they do around Mulder, where Mulder would, like, sort of, like, tease them gently. But, like, in this situation, they'd be like, oh, we found this new satellite dish that's, like, broadcasting secrets. And then Krychek just being like, I don't give a shit, you fucking nerds.
Yeah. Where he's like, listen, I've killed aliens.
Yeah.
Or the alternate is there's like awkward silence. The Lone Gunman go, so you like D&D? And Krychek goes, yeah, kind of. Yeah, played a lot in prison.
Yeah, I play a little bit.
Like, cool. Yeah, us too.
I'm like a rogue.
Do something.
I play like a thief. Yeah. I play like a thief character. Oh yeah, that makes sense for you, Krychek. That makes sense for you.
Yeah. You would, Krychek.
You would, yeah. I've killed both aliens and humans with my bare hands.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of Krychek. He quote unquote kills cigarette smoking man as well.
he sure tries.
He kills him like he's his grandson trying to get insurance money.
Yeah.
He pushes him down the stairs and it's like, do you need to make it look like an accident?
Yeah,
Shoot him in the head, Krychek.
What are you, good sonning him? I mean,
Yeah.
that is a good assassin move, not to make it look like a murder. But like,
Sure.
when has Krychek ever been a good assassin? Like anytime he is trying to kill somebody, he fails. Like he kills people by accident.
Yeah, he's a terrible assassin. They need to stop hiring him.
You remember he kills Scully's sister because he's trying to kill Scully.
Right. He's the Mulder of assassins.
He's a real clown show. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. So I do feel like the overall luck, the big phenomenal one is what are the odds this alien ship crash right over this place that happens to be Mulder Town. But then it's mostly just people doing stuff for Mulder after that.
Yeah, UFO highways. I mean, that's a thing in UFO culture.
Yeah.
There are certain lanes that have a lot of UFO activity, so it's fine. But like, it's still lucky as shit. It's like,
I love that
what episode was it? Ah, man, where like midway through a plane crashes that just has like
that has evidence in it.
Has all the
evidence wild.
they need in it. It was, I think it was it the Cannibal Town one? No, it wasn't the Cannibal Town.
It was something like that. It was a small town one.
It was one of the
small town ones. I think it might have been the Cannibal Town.
It was something to do with them putting hormones in the beef. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, what are the fucking odds? And then I don't know if this is luck, but like the bounty hunter, is that the same alien bounty hunter? Because he definitely, when he saw Mulder, he had a face of like, this fucking guy again.
Oh, it's the same guy. It's still Brian Thompson.
Yeah, no, I mean like because he can look like everything. Is it the same alien?
I assume so.
Yeah. So what are the fucking odds? And then I love that it sort of ends with them being like, we're gonna fucking abduct this prick finally.
Yeah, we got him.
And that's lucky for Mulder.
And they share like a meaningful look too, which is really fun.
Yeah, where
Mulder's
like, hey.
standing there in the middle of all these soon-to-be abductees, and then the ABH just strolls up to him and gives him kind of like this sly smile, like they're meeting up at Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
Yeah, I got to talk about that. We should. You want to get in the next section? I don't have too much more.
No, I mean from beginning to end, the episode's lucky as shit. So let's just get into the next section, folks. Dim those lights.
Do it.
Go down into your basement office and start dribbling a basketball alone.
Yeah.
Waiting to get yelled at by your father boss. Because it's time for Mulder After Dark. That was a weird one.
Ooh, yeah. Nice and weird.
Soak up
weird
that
saxophone.
sax. Yeah.
Yeah. I have so many
Pacific
things.
Northwest saxophone.
Yeah.
A deciduous forest saxophone. Is that right?
Yeah. Why not?
Anyway.
First question, Tom.
Yes.
Did Mulder assault an FBI auditor?
Yes, I believe he headbutted him.
Yeah.
I think the implication is he headbutted that guy.
So that's wild. So the beginning of this episode is basically a guy who's seen or has listened to our podcast.
Yes.
They are under a financial evaluation by an auditor who sits down with Mulder and he's like, "You've cost us a lot of money.
Yeah.
What exactly are you doing?" and he even says, quote, "So many of the cases you investigate are left unexplained. Makes it hard to justify the expense."
Yep.
He says that to Scully, I believe. And she replies, "We open doors with the X-Files that lead to other doors." And it's like, man, Scully, don't even try to defend this.
You have been drinking the Kool-Aid for too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny that the episode opens with two different scenes just basically making every observation you and I have made.
Yeah. It's just a very serious man sitting down with them and being like, "It says here that you think we're going to become alien slaves. Is that right?"
You have spent $500,000 to fly out to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and rent a boat, which you then sunk.
Yeah.
And you explained the sinking on the Bermuda Triangle and time traveling to a Nazi ship.
Yep. And then he brings up a very valid point where he says, what you do is basically information gathering. And Mulder's like, "No, it's not." And it's like, but Mulder, as we've talked about many times in this show, this is a running theme. Mulder never actually solves the crime or really changes the course of what happens. They do just kind of observe it. So
Most
it
of
is
the- most of the time,
information
yeah.
gathering. Yeah. What they do is essentially they come home and say, we saw a werewolf kill a guy. And they're like, oh, did you help? And they're like, nah, he punched me in the face and I was knocked out
Oh,
for
cool.
most of it.
Did
like,
you,
it's just that.
Did you catch the werewolf? No, he got shot. Oh, you shot
Yeah.
the werewolf? No, I didn't shoot the werewolf. The sheriff did.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
what
I
did
just
you
watched
do?
it. Yeah.
I saw it. I saw the werewolf.
Yeah. And
Did
now
you-
I'm going to write down that I saw it.
Did you take a picture of it? No, but I'm an English major, so I can really make a picture come alive.
I'm going to write a
with my-
series of poems.
with my prose.
Yeah.
Okay.
He,
And you cost us how much? $200,000.
$6,000. It is that. It's exactly that most episodes. So this guy points out, like, you don't really do anything, do you? You just
Yeah.
gather information and cost
He
us
did.
money.
He did arrest
And then-
a fucking fluke man one time.
Yeah, one time, and then the fluke man got away and he killed it. He crushed it in the sewer and didn't take its body. He didn't bring its body back.
Nope.
He just left,
it down there.
Yeah. Good job, Mulder.
Nice work.
And then the guy, again, very correctly says, like, perhaps you need to reduce your vision. Because he points out, if this is about finding aliens, why are you also in the Bermuda Triangle hunting werewolves? Like, he says, like, perhaps you should look where aliens
Yeah,
are.
go to where the aliens are.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
narrow
again,
your focus. And he's not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. It's so funny where he's just like, most of these can be researched on the internet. And like, you're not really hunting aliens most of the time, and you're costing us a lot of money. And he's like, yeah, but I got a genie wish. You'd vanished. You vanished for an afternoon. And the guy's like, yeah, that's great. I'm going to go ahead and write a few things about that in my little
Yep.
notebook.
Let me get out a separate form here.
Yeah.
Start filling this out.
And this audit. So what happens is Mulder walks in later and Scully's like, how'd it go? And at first it sounds like a joke, and it is not. Mulder says, I never actually assaulted an auditor before. Scully, smiling, says, did you hurt him? And Mulder says, I reduced his vision a little bit. And then the episode moves on, and it's not a joke. As far as I can tell, he assaulted that auditor.
Yeah, he rubs the center of his head as he says, I reduced his vision a little bit. So the implication is that he headbutted this guy.
Yep. So this guy sat down with Mulder and was like, you're costing us a lot of money. You seem to be going after aliens, but not really. You haven't solved any crimes. How do you explain this? And Mulder headbutted him. And that's the meeting. That is out of control. That is one of the most out of control things he's done in a very long time.
Yeah. That's like gondola hijacking.
Yeah. We're 10 minutes into the
That is
episode.
up there with gondola hijacking.
Yeah. It's
Oh, man.
unbelievable. Unfucking believable, Mulder.
That's man, that is up there with him choking Dwayne Barry, leaving the room, and coming back into the room to find Dwayne Barry choked to death.
Yeah. That's
Same
assault.
episode as the
we're-
gondola
we're-
hijacking.
Yeah. We're 10 minutes in, and Mulder has already lost his job. Like he should.
Mulder's going to jail.
Yeah. He's going to jail.
Yeah.
He has committed a crime.
You can't headbutt a guy who tells you you're
No.
spending too much money.
You can't headbutt anyone. Period. You know?
Yeah, there's some situations where headbutts are appropriate.
Self-defense. But like, yeah, in this case, Mulder's going to jail.
Yeah, the drive-through line is taking too long. There's a few situations where a headbutt
That's
is
true.
acceptable.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So Billy Miles. Mulder immediately remembers him like some sort of freak.
Of course he
He's
does.
just like, Oregon induction 7 years ago. Yeah, because that's all that's in his brain.
It's baseball statistics and all of his X-Files. We've been over this.
Yeah.
He also says Oregon like a freak.
He sure does.
Like a real freak.
I mean,
Skinner says it right later. Skinner's like, yeah,
Yeah.
Mulder's up in Oregon. Mulder
Yeah.
says Oregon like it's an alien planet.
Yeah, of
Like
course
it's
he
like
does.
it's fucking Mordor. Like a
what would you
distant
expect?
land.
Listen, his head's still a little hazy from the headbutt.
From the
earlier.
headbutt. Yeah, it's one of those.
'Cause-
It's the first time you headbutt somebody where you realize there's a technique to it.
Right.
You're like,
you
oh, I
know
can't
that-
just smash my noggin against somebody else's noggin. That actually hurts me too. So
Yeah, I feel like Mulder got more hurt from the headbutting.
I'm sure he did.
knowing Mulder, he is not good at fighting.
No, he's the worst at it, in fact.
Yeah. So he's mostly just like really fucking moody during this.
Well, he gets the meeting with the auditor really depresses him because he starts thinking about, like, I don't know, wasting his life, and then thinking about having dragged Scully into it, and how Scully has like taken serious personal and professional hits for having to stick up for him for 7 years.
Right.
So he's moping around about that the whole episode.
Yeah, and he's like mad. He has the like when it, like they find a bullet casing at the crime scene, and the detective is like, "What was he shooting at?" And Mulder goes, "Probably nothing." He goes, "Nothing." He goes, "Nothing's all people seem to find out here, detective." Like, and then they just leave. That's all they do. They don't check the forest. Like, he's just very mopey in general.
We should perhaps look into why the sheriff's deputy fired his weapon 3 times before he disappeared.
Yep. Yeah, maybe you should look towards like where he fired.
Maybe we
gun.
should look for where the bullets landed.
They go and look at it. They talk to the wife, and the wife they answer the door, and she's like, "Is this about my missing husband?" And Mulder's like, "Oh, hey, I know you. How you doing?" It's like, Mulder, she's in distress, but sure.
Mulder has to clarify in that exchange. He's like, "We didn't have any idea that you were his wife when we came here to talk. Just to be clear, I'm not like harassing you." Like for the case from 7 years ago. Yeah.
And then she gives him some photos, and he investigates them by looking at them in bed, as he does.
That is what he's just laying in they're spread out all over his bed. It's like the episode where he's just staring at the haunted doll.
Right.
That's a major part of Mulder's investigative technique, is to just lay the evidence out and stare at it.
Yeah. I want to talk about what's happening to Scully.
Yeah.
So Scully is getting lightheaded and woozy, and like you would think she has like low blood sugar, but it's very funny that, and she turns out just to be pregnant. Like, I think that's the only thing wrong with her, right? Is like the baby's eating her food.
I thought it was her proximity to the UFO, because she's experiencing these symptoms when she comes to Mulder's room, and the implication is that's where they have sex, and then the baby is conceived, right?
Oh, so well, I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So if that's fucking wild, because Mulder, so she goes into the room, she's like, "I'm cold." He spoons her, and he rasps in her ear.
Just
fucking
reptilian. Right in her ear.
He says, "I want you to go home."
And she goes, Scully.
"Looking at you today, holding that baby, knowing everything that's been taken away from you, a chance for motherhood and your health and that baby. I think that, I don't know, maybe they're right."
It's the
Who's
scene,
right? He says, "The FBI. Maybe what they say is true, for all the wrong reasons. It's the personal costs that are too high. And there's so much more you need to do with your life." He's basically like, "You know how you can't have babies, Scully?" And then he gives her a kiss on the cheek. And I was like, "You're at work right now, Mulder."
He kisses her a couple of times.
Yep.
Like he's doing the pillowy lip brush like on her shoulder and stuff, like throughout this whole speech.
It's really creepy.
This little like hissing that he's doing into her ear, all I could think of was The Witch.
Yeah.
All I could think of was like,
"You want to live deliciously,
Scully."
So, you were saying that you think this is where they mated. The thing about that is that
it has to be, right?
How long does it take to know you're all preggo?
I don't know. A week?
Okay.
2 weeks? I have no idea. Let me just take that back. I don't know.
Okay.
But also, this is a movie. I mean, This is a TV show, and they very frequently don't follow actual rules. So I just don't know, like, when else it would have.
It's one, or you should wait at least 1 to 2 weeks after you had sex.
Okay.
This is what I was going to say. Is that the way they're acting? I actually feel like they already had sex, because he's acting really intimate with her casually.
He has, if you look, like the last season and maybe the last 2 seasons, they have been behaving kind of like this around each other, where there is this like intimate connection between them.
Right. And like I said, what's going to happen is they're going to make it seem like a Jesus baby in the next couple seasons, and then there'll be a reveal that Mulder is the father, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of implied here. What occurred to me is it's probably been a few weeks, more likely, and that puts the sex around the episode Hollywood AD, which makes more sense to me. Like, what would you say about that? Because they're in Hollywood. They've had some drinks. There was a movie premiere where they're fucking in a coffin.
That's true.
At the end of the night, they go, "Come on, Scully, let's go out and have some drinks." Couple drinks, night at the town, bubble baths. They probably fucked during that ridiculous ass episode, which means she was technically pregnant during the Fight Club episode and the Genie episode.
Sure.
The episode where they get in a brawl. That's my theory.
They fight fucking arena full of indie wrestling fans.
I think Hollywood AD is the one where they actually
that would make sense.
do the deed.
Oh man, I love that episode. So I love Skinner with his date just shoving popcorn in his face and having the time of his life.
Scully's not the only one who got pregnant in that one.
Oh hell yeah.
Skinner has so many children after that.
Everyone in Skinner's orbit got pregnant that night.
Right. But yeah, that's my theory. Is I don't think this feels like they've already been together. They did. I really like what they did with this. Is that the way, because people kept waiting for Mulder and Scully to hook up, and what they did instead is you realize they hooked up after, like the episode where they really romantically kiss after Scully's baby. You realize like, oh shit, they've been hooking up this whole time and no one told us.
Yeah, I think they handled it in a really good way because they do it subtly. Like it's been a build to this. So like when Mulder's like spooning her and they're having this very intimate moment, it's not like, it doesn't feel out of the blue and it doesn't feel like unearned. And it also doesn't feel like, oh, is this going to be where they finally get together? It doesn't feel like that either, because they've been like subtly introducing the idea of, well, they do have kind of an intimate connection already.
Right. It's really interesting because most shows would make it this big deal.
There would be commercials leading up to it for like weeks, and finally they're gonna kiss, and they didn't do that. And
this one, it's like this slow burn where like several episodes, this one and before it, there's moments where you're like, wait, are you guys fucking?
Yeah.
Like, and you don't quite know when it started. They never let you in on it. And they're like, that's private. That's private between Mulder and Scully. Yeah. And I like that. So my guess is they conceived their child during Wacky Hollywood episode.
I hope
that's my headcanon, at least.
Maybe they fucked in a novelty coffin just to recreate what they saw on screen, Dave.
They might have.
I think they must have.
Yeah, because again, I just don't think rasping in Scully's ear about how she can't conceive children is like gonna horny her up.
Fucking concrete block being dragged across gravel, just like
people
horking into her ear.
If you watch any scene from this episode, this is the scene, because I was just like watching, like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that, Mulder?
he's really weird. Projecting onto her in this scene.
Yeah. He literally a chance for motherhood in your health.
Yeah, and Scully's like, well, I didn't feel bad until now.
Yeah, he's like negging her about her womb.
Now I feel awful. Like now I feel like I've wasted 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
You weirdo.
Fucking weird.
You should have a nickname. Your nickname should be Spooky.
Yeah, because you are a spooky man.
Spooky.
And then he's at the crime scene in his car, glaring, and he sees this young man looking nervous, and Mulder just gets out of his car like he's gonna fight him.
Yeah.
And just like stomps over to them, and the guy starts walking away, and he's like, hey, what are you doing?
He chases him down like a fucking mad grizzly.
Yep. And then the cop's like, oh, hey. And he's like, you know this guy? It's like, are you going to fight him, Mulder? Or do you think he's an alien right now? What's going on?
He might.
Yeah.
The kid does have kind of big ears, so maybe he thought.
Yeah.
He has a weird shaped head, so maybe he thought it was an alien in a mask.
Right. And that's when that guy takes him to the woods and is like, no, I know everything. Mulder sees nothing. Scully gets vibrated and hucked out of the alien shield. And they think, oh, she passed out. So they go back to Washington. Mulder is then in his office throwing his basketball. Skinner walks in and Mulder says, what's our punishment this time? Thumb screws or 40 lashes. Come on in, Walter. Sit a spell. And it's like, oh, you are a little mopey edgelord right now.
He's being real fresh.
Yeah, Skinner should put him in a headlock right there and then.
Yeah, just take the ball from him and bounce it off his head.
Yeah. So Mulder's just like, man, we wasted your money. And then Skinner introduces Krychek. And what does Mulder do?
He immediately gets up and tries to fight him to the point where
Tries to kill him, I think.
Skinner has to physically restrain him.
Yep. Easily restrains him. It's key, without making a noise.
Yeah.
Mulder just goes up and at him like a dog seeing another dog.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He is just, if no one restrains him, I'm pretty sure he's just going to murder Krychek.
We've
Just
seen this.
strangle
We've
him.
seen this, like every interaction they've had for the past several seasons. On sight, Mulder attacks Krychek.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Because I know Krychek killed his father. I get it.
Yeah.
But in this instance, it's so funny how it is like a dog. Like Mulder's not like, what is this? What's going on?
Yeah, what's he
He's
doing
not like,
here?
oh,
Why'd you bring him
arrest
in
this
here?
man.
Yeah.
He just sees Krychek. I fear for anybody who look like if you ran into Mulder, Tom.
Yeah,
he
me
would try to kill you.
specifically, yeah.
Yeah. I fear anybody who looks like Krychek, because he probably, if he saw you at like the mall,
Yeah.
you'd look over and you'd see him sprinting right towards you, quietly as fast as he could.
Like the T-1000.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
John
exactly.
Dockett.
Exactly. It's so funny how he reacts.
Yeah. Like a bird seeing its reflection.
He does. He's just kill mode
Yeah,
instantly.
immediately.
Yeah. He tells Scully to stay behind. He says, I'm not going to risk losing you. And it's like, man, Mulder, you really need her help more than she needs yours, but whatever. Because then Mulder gets abducted.
Well, he thinks they think leading up to that, like her like dizzy spells and the way she's feeling is her proximity to the UFO. So
Yes.
they think that means she's going to be abducted again.
What Scully realizes is that, no, they rejected her. And that means they want Mulder. And I want to talk about this forever. So because first of all, when I say Mulder gets abducted, that's not quite what happens. Mulder essentially walks into a ship.
Yeah, he walks inside the ship.
Yeah. Other people have to be dragged by the bounty hunter. Mulder just walks right in. It's like a roach trap for Mulder. And I find that very funny.
Of course.
Because it was always going to end this way for
Yeah,
him.
it was just a stick in a box trap.
Yeah.
It's just, you just lead a trail of alien breadcrumbs and he will walk right into it.
Right. And the realization is that Mulder could have been abducted at any point. All they had to do is say, over there's a ship. Go on in. And he would have gone in. And I think they know that. And I think it's really funny because what happened is it feels like the alien bounty hunter has spent 7 years being annoyed by Mulder, right? He famously threw him out
of a submarine. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just going back to that, it's the alien bounty hunter just kills people. And it's so funny that he just beats up Mulder and Mulder is not worth killing. And he just throws him outside like a bug that he found. And he's just like, look at him. He's not going to hurt anybody. He just does. It's so funny how little the aliens, it's like whenever you hear Kevin Smith talk about when he almost meets George Lucas and Lucas just avoids him.
Yeah.
It's that where the aliens are just like, oh, not that fucking guy. Like that guy's, like he's like a weird fanboy for the aliens.
It's so, and when he walks into the center of all the abductees, and then they sort of like part and the alien bounty hunter's walking towards him. Like in my mind, it was like the alien bounty hunter's been out there for like the past several hours trying to find Mulder and bring him here. Like to kidnap Mulder, and then he gets like, "Oh, you're here."
Yeah, you're already here. Of course you are.
Shit. Yeah, of course you are.
I should have known. Because
just
this is
waited
the
here.
aliens. Basically, the aliens have, after years and years, are like, you know what? Let's just grab that Mulder.
Let's just
freak.
grab that Mulder guy.
We
yeah.
should probably look into his brain.
We should need to dissect his brain, see what's going
Yeah,
on in
and
there.
Spoilers: the stuff that supposedly is happening to Mulder in the next season, or season and episode, is funny as hell because it does feel like they're just bullying him on the ship.
Yeah.
So Mulder just walks directly onto the ship, and he's so into it. He's so excited when he gets on there. He's trying to hide it. He's trying to be cool.
It's Richard
You can tell.
Dreyfuss at the end of Close Encounters.
Yeah.
It's precisely what it is.
And then the ship leaves.
Yeah.
He just walks on. It's amazing.
Yep. He just leaves. Like him and
Yeah.
Skinner are in the woods setting up lasers to try to find this invisible ship, and Mulder just walks into the trees and leaves.
Right, because here's the thing. They're trying to set up lasers, and they find the border of the ship because the lasers stop. So what does Mulder do? He sticks his hand in it, And that's how he gets abducted. Because again, it is so easy to abduct Mulder. We've talked about this so many times. An alien or just a serial killer. You literally just have to have a van and you have to say, hey, Mulder, I know where there's aliens. Get in my van.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what happens.
There's aliens in the van, Mulder. Just peek in there.
Yeah, just peek in. And so, Mulder gets abducted in the sense that he walks onto a ship.
Yeah. He got strangers with candied by aliens.
Yep. That's all I have for Mulder After Dark.
Yeah, that's everything. But I mean,
all right.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And I guess we should talk about...
Oh, okay.
Go on.
I was just going to say, they thought they were closing the book on Mulder, so they made him go out with a bang. So...
Mm-hmm. It's so funny that they just... How does Mulder go out? Well, he would naturally just walk onto an alien ship and they'd leave with him.
I mean, it is the logical conclusion to his story, is he would get close encountered.
Yep. And then Scully has to wake up and they have to... It's like they lost a cat. They're like, we finally lost Mulder. It was only a matter of time.
It's kind of how Skinner delivers it, because he's like choked up, but he doesn't actually cry. He's like, I lost him. I'm sorry. He got away from me.
We'll get a new one.
It's like, he even uses the same language you'd use. So it is just like he left the door open and the cat got out.
Right, because he does say, I lost him.
Yeah.
And it's very funny because it's like, well, you could argue Mulder lost himself, right?
Yeah, he wandered away.
It's like, no one thinks of Mulder as like a human capable of making decisions.
Rational decisions. Or really fully in control of his actions at any given time.
So going into Fireable offenses, again, first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, he assaults an auditor?
Headbutts an auditor so hard. Judging by what he said, I what did he say? I narrowed his vision. He presumably headbutted this guy so hard that he broke his glasses.
Yeah. So that's a immediate fireable offense. That's a bad one.
In any other professional situation, you would assume so. Yeah.
Yeah. If you worked at a Subway. If you headbutted another employee,
if you got called,
you'd get fired.
Because they thought you were, you're. They had an auditor come in and you got called in the back because your drawer keeps coming up short, and you headbutt that person.
You're going home.
Yeah, you're going home,
and then some. You're taking a trip to jail first, and then maybe home. The scene in Skinner's office just feels illegal. The part where Krychek and the lone gunmen are just like in his office going over secret bullshit.
It's what the funny thing, and the Covarrubias too. She's like a big time. Well, actually, maybe she's not like a known criminal, but like I can't decide whether it's more alarming, like whether the bigger national security risk being in Skinner's office is Krychek or the lone gunman.
Right, because I think Krychek is discreet. He knows how to keep his mouth shut. The lone gunmen are going to write about this.
They're immediately going home and publishing this in their zine.
Yeah, the lone gunmen are having like that idea of like, what do you get out of it? And it's like, oh, I know what they get out of it. They're just like, this is juicy fucking conspiracy shit. They love it. They're going to do an exclusive interview with Krychek that you won't even know existed.
This is their hog slop, and they love it.
Yeah.
So I want a whole episode of the lone gunman and Krychek.
Yeah, I really do.
The lone gunman trying to treat Krychek like their new Mulder.
Yeah, that should have been the spinoff. Yeah, them calling him and be like, "Stop! I don't want to trade porn with you, Frohickey. I don't want to go play D&D. You guys got to get out of my life." I love that idea, and Krychek just like can't kill them because he's bad at it.
He keeps killing 3 other random people.
Yeah. 3 other nerds.
3 other nerds that just happen to be all the same places.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great show. But yeah, that's all I have. I mean, like it's Mulder headbutting an auditor is pretty fucking bad.
Pretty significant, yeah. It doesn't really matter that he's essentially going by the book for the rest of the episode. Except when he hawks that kid down at the crime scene for no reason.
Yeah, that's also fucking
Although
weird.
That's not really fireable. You can just say, he looks suspicious.
Yeah.
They do that all the time.
Yeah, it's just bad.
It is bad.
Yeah. All right, well, time to name the enabler then. I feel like it's Skinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely Skinner.
Yeah, because Scully is like I want to go with you, Mulder. And Skinner and Mulder go off together, and Mulder comes back and goes, I lost him. And so, yeah, Skinner kind of fucked up. I mean, he should have known, you know?
Yeah.
You don't go UFO hunting with Mulder and expect it to go well.
I assume the reason Mulder never hears any repercussions for headbutting the auditor is because of Skinner's influence and intervention.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
He, like, paid off the auditor or something.
Yeah.
And then I guess the aliens are kind of enablers. Although I'm really, like, I love the thought of, like, Mulder being on that ship. And, like, the manager alien is like, really? This guy? And the bounty hunter was like, listen, I needed one more person. I wanted to meet my quota. And he just wouldn't go away.
He's always around,
like,
so
he's
I
always
figured...
around. Yeah. Like, that's probably what happened. Like, what caused them to abduct Mulder at this point? It's got to be that the bounty hunter saw him and it was like, you know what? Him.
Yeah,
I got a
easy.
couple open slots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to grab him. Yeah. All right. Well, time for our Crazy Like a Fox, our final segment.
Oh, man. Our final segment for the final stretch of original run Mulder.
Yeah, I mean, spoilers, he will be back in the next few episodes.
Yeah. But then we're going to go for a while without any Mulder.
Yeah. And we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. But for now,
I have some thoughts.
This is the part of the episode where we assign a numerical ranking from 1 to 10 to grade Mulder's behavior in the episode. 1 being professional, reasonable, well-adjusted adult representative of the federal government. 10 being none of those things. Just not a damn one of those things I just said.
Mm-hmm. And it feels fitting that I do believe this is a 10.
This is a 10. This is a 1-0 day.
Yeah. It's perfect 10 for Mulder to go out on. Just walking on an alien ship alone. But I mean, or rather just the first 10 minutes alone, headbutting a fucking auditor. He did a 10 like in the first fucking 10 minutes before the plot begins. Yeah. He's at a 10.
Yeah. And then I think the cumulative score of wandering onto a spaceship, and then his like hissing in Scully's ear.
Yeah.
All these weird hang-ups that he's projecting onto her.
Yeah, it's
I think
interesting
add up
because
to an additional 10.
Yeah, he's done it's both kinds of 10s because like he's endangered the lives of others before, and you could argue he never actually endangers lives.
Not in this episode.
He walks on a plane with an alien device in one episode that was known for crashing planes, and he has literally put children at risk. But what this is it's a rare combination of like assaulting someone is enough, but then also his general attitude throughout the weird Scully scene also feels like enough, where he acts like a fucking alien himself. And the decisions he makes. So it's like all the Mulder. You know what I mean? They gave us every piece of the Mulder, side of it.
Every part of the Mulder, yeah, for sure.
Beautiful episode. Mm-hmm. And I'm again, spoilers for the next episode. He's technically not in the episode, but it's not a 0. So like there's an echo of Mulder that we're gonna get after this. So don't feel sad.
He will continue
for the next season.
He will continue to haunt these hallways.
Yes. We're probably going to get, if I recall the way season 8 works is that there's like a chunk in the middle where they try to do business as usual. And that's when the fans were like, nah, we're not watching. And they were like, okay, we're going to have to get David Duchovny back. So I don't think he's gone for season 8. I think he's gone for like
about half of it.
Yeah. Maybe even less. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, until next time, like we said, this is a free episode and you can see the conclusion to this because this is Mulder has been abducted. What's going to happen? Scully just said, I'm pregnant, and the show ends. There's 2 more episodes after this, part of this 3-parter. And in order to find out what, I guess what we have to say about it, you can just go watch the episodes for, on your own.
If you want.
But, then you won't get our beautiful voices talking about it.
Yeah, why would you want to do that? Yeah.
Exactly. You should check out our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. Like I said, you get access to this podcast and then also Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Spiel Boys and Star Trek The Next Futurama, and it's all for $5 a month.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Check that out. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs. You can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things, including a lot of Mulder stuff. Couple of cool posters, pieces of art you should check out. Slap little extraterrestrial peepers onto that.
Yeah. And like, again, the future is bright because season 8's going to be very interesting. I'm kind of excited for season 8.
Yeah.
And then season 9, he's back, baby.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all sorts of goofy. And then there's another movie, and then there's 2 more seasons of old Mulder. The revival Mulder. So we got plenty of fucking Mulder.
Man, the future is so bright. We got to wear shades from the TV show Californication.
Exactly. Or those shades he wore when he got sucked into the computer for the second time, into the video game.
And we ripped his sleeves off and threw on some sunglasses.
Right. Or the shades he wore the first time he was in a computer and they put those stupid goggles on him. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Where he was just like, man, remember when he got trapped by a robot?
I do. And a robot in a trailer.
What an asshole.
Like it's another trap that he just walked into.
Yeah. Most of his traps work that way, or most of the times he gets trapped. Remember when the doppelganger just locked him in a basement of like a hospital?
Mm-hmm.
God damn, Mulder
stole his identification.
You're so easy to kidnap. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Artwork for Fox Mulder's A Maniac is produced by Starlene Hodge. Follow her on Twitter at StarleneX, that's Starlene with an X, or check out her delightful webcomic at rubywhipple.com.